Hey everybody, and welcome back to our second show of the day, the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house, and I hope you guys are having a good time out there. Once again, getting great feedback from Rumble, so big shout out over on Rumble. YouTubers, you guys are great too, and really enjoying covering a lot of crypto topics. This one is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to get in some really good alpha in this. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be covering Bitcoin, of course, talking about Bitcoin financial freedom, and we're going to be zooming in on part of Michael Saylor's a big presentation they did in April last year, and really pulling out some of that real big insight there. So hopefully that will help you make more gains in crypto in the bull market ahead of us. It's going to be pretty exciting. The other big topic we're going to be talking about, of course, is meme coin trends. And we're going to do a full coverage of meme coin from the high level. So if you are not too familiar with the scope of meme coins, hopefully this will give you a lot of extra insights and maybe create some real good value as we move into the bull market, right? So I think it's going to be pretty exciting. So big shout out to everybody over there. Now, remember, if you're new to the channel on Rumble, hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Smash the like button. Repost it on Rumble. Share it on YouTube, and grow together. Grow together. So, and also, I'm going to post the links to our Discord are in the video description, and I'm going to post the latest and greatest, our Gem Hunters group in Telegram. We're going to be looking for some pretty awesome protocols, and we've got a great list in there. One of them just popped big time just in the last hour or two, went up like 80%. So you guys are on to winners there. Very cool. Big shout out to MB and the rest of the crew inside Gem Hunters. So I'm just going to post that link now on YouTube, and I'll post it later there afterwards on Rumble. Maybe some of the moderators might post it there before I get to it. So yeah, big welcome there. Subscribe, like, and share. Join the Discord and join our new Gem Hunters on Telegram, and that's the link there. So check that out. It looks like I probably needed a few spaces there, but just the way it goes. So big shout out. All right, let's get into it without further ado. Let's cover Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin financial freedom. This is going to be mega huge, right? So we're going to look at Michael Saylor, and he has got some great advice there. So it's going to be pretty cool to see that. Now we've got Property View in the house there. Big shout out. Great coverage. I appreciate Property View. If you haven't checked out Property View's channel, covers multi-million-dollar properties. Really cool channel. So check that out too. Very cool. All right, further ado, let's get into it, and let's get into Bitcoin. How is Bitcoin going to change your life? Well, massive. And I think Michael Saylor does the best presentation on it. Really is pretty awesome. So let's go through there. So what is Bitcoin worth to you, or what's it worth to anybody for that matter? And of course, let's have a look here. So this is based on April last year, and he had 450 trillion times 3% annual dilution equals 13.5 trillion per year, or 13.5 trillion times a 20 PE multiple. And its price to earnings multiple equals 270 trillion. And so that was laying out the potential value. So let's check out where this heads. So the economic benefit to the world of digital capital is more than 10 trillion annually. That's a big thing. So you want to have your money where the big money is going to be created, right? And next, of course, reality check. Bitcoin is outperforming all asset classes. So this was based on last year, April, so before like gold run and all that sort of stuff. Just take that into account. So we had Bitcoin there up 55%, even back in April last year. We had the S&P 500 up 13%, the NASDAQ up 13%, gold up 5%. Of course, gold's recently had a big rally. And of course, the stock markets have also rallied into the new year with the recent pullback, of course, on Trump's tariffs. Silver up 2%. Obviously, that's gone up as well with gold. Gold breaking 3,000 was huge, and potentially going to head towards 3,500 this year. Pretty amazing there, and that's one of the Morgan Stanley's projections there. And bonds down 5% at the time last year. But the general idea is still true, right? So Bitcoin rallying big time, reaching new all-time high of 108K since that point. So all these asset classes are pretty much rallying pretty big. So huge future for you to put some capital in. And we're going to talk about an individual strategy with Michael Saylor in a minute. So back last year in April 2024, we had Bitcoin there at 1 trillion. It is now $1.6 trillion. Is the old Bitcoin. Gold back at the day was 16 trillion. That's more like 25 trillion, somewhere like that at the moment. It's pretty huge. Art was 18 trillion there. We had coins and collectibles at 6 trillion last year. Equities at 115 trillion. Real estate 330 trillion. Bonds at 300 trillion. And money at 120 trillion. Total global asset value of 900 trillion. Look how small Bitcoin is. And of course, crypto wasn't much bigger, right? If you add all the rest of the altcoins on there, wasn't much bigger. And then, of course, we had the Bitcoin 21 year price forecast from Michael Saylor based on last year. At the time, it was 65K. I mean, it's not too far away from that, another 20K maybe. So it's gone about 20 net since that time, at about 85K, I think it was last time I checked it. Yeah, $83,400 at the moment. Now, this was the scenarios for 2045. So if you've got 20-year investment horizon, you don't even need that. You could have 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's going to be. This is the 2045 forecast here from Michael Saylor, and of course he's got here $3 million in the bear case, 13 million in the base case, and $49 million per Bitcoin in the bull case. This is per Bitcoin. Remember, there's only going to be 21 million, I should say, Bitcoin. They reckon that maybe 2 to 4 million of those Bitcoins been lost. 1 million is sitting in the original founder Satoshi's wallet. So it is a huge deal. And now, of course, we've had President Trump's announcement about a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We've got the altcoin stockpile. We've got all the US states who are scrambling to get bills through so they can spend money on buying Bitcoin. We've got institutions lining up following the ETF that launched last year for Bitcoin on the 10th of January. Everything is heading the right way. We've got all the sovereign states trying to compete with America to get into crypto. All the big corporates and globalists trying to get in. Microsoft is a good example of that. And of course, we could see some big, big moves in Bitcoin in the years ahead. What a great place to park some capital, right? Now, the percentage of Bitcoin assets, of course, you got 0.1% of total assets. And of course, we saw that in the previous chart. Bitcoin being pretty small, only grown 60% since that time, now at 1.6 trillion since April last year. And of course, the base case there at 7% of total wealth, the bear at 2%, and Bitcoin being 22% of the bull case, which is pretty amazing, right? So pretty awesome. Market cap there, 1.3 trillion is the current market cap at the time, back in April here, at least when they took the snapshot. Obviously, that's 1.6 trillion at the moment for Bitcoin. And he's talking about getting to 68 trillion at a $3 million Bitcoin price, 280 trillion at a 13 million Bitcoin price, and 1 trillion there. So that's what $1 quintillion dollars at the price of $49 million per Bitcoin. Pretty incredible. Obviously, there's inflation adjustments in there as well. And then, of course, you've got the ARR in there at 21% for the base case, 29% for the 29% for the base case, 21% for the bear, and 37% for the bull case there. Pretty incredible results. So what a great place to park your money. What a great place for Bitcoin financial freedom. Just having a bit of Bitcoin, right? It's accumulating Bitcoin over the time. So probably a lot better than property, a lot less hassle than property, right? If you go to property, some of these hassles here, you got real estate, you got, buying and selling it, you got maintaining it. If you're renting, you've got to, manage that. You've got to updo the maintenance. You've got taxes to do, all sorts of things like that you've got to think about. And of course, if you're getting into bonds and things like that, you've got to have the right people to talk to about getting into bonds and money and equities. Of course, you've got to make the right decisions. You can do the safe play and go into indexes, but of course, you might get on the bottom of a cycle. There's all sorts of issues there. Art, of course, is very volatile, a very big game there, particularly expensive art. And of course, collections and cars are also pretty specialized knowledge. You got to know what you're doing. If you're doing baseball cards, if you're doing, old classic cars, you've got a lot to deal with in there as well. Now, another obviously a relatively safe play is gold, but of course, Bitcoin is the new digital gold. And of course, we heard that from BlackRock, right, CEO. So it is a game on. It is game on. So very important there. Now, moving forward, we've got obviously the macro 21-year forecast from Michael Saylor. And of course, this is 2024 to 2025. So this is 20 years from now. And of course, we've got the market cap of Bitcoin at 1 trillion. We've got 280 trillion market cap by 2045. Of course, we've got gold there at $16. We've got 16 trillion, I should say. And of course, he's got that at 45. I mean, we're already up at about 2025, so gold could be a lot higher than that, but that's his calculations there. Art could be go from 18 trillion to 110 trillion. Equity from 115 to 850 trillion. Real estate from 330 to 1 quintillion, 360 trillion there. And of course, we've got bonds 300 to 840 trillion. And finally, money there 120 to 500 over that period of time. So over 20 years, that is where we're expecting asset growth to be. But look at the ARR on there, right? And the dominance, the increased dominance that Bitcoin's having at 7%. The ARR is clearly the highest there, 29%, versus, for example, the conservative ones, bonds and money, 5%, 7%. Real estate, of course, if you're looking to invest in there for your nest egg, while 29% is way better than 7%. Equities, of course, 10%. Bitcoin's better again. Art, of course, is risky, better than 9%. And gold there, 5%, is probably your next safest play. And of course, 29% is 6 times better yield there over that 2024 case. So pretty amazing there. And of course, these numbers are the base case that he's using here. So imagine if you had the bull case as well, even better odds, right? So pretty crazy. You get up to 37%. So that's closer to 7 or 8 times better return than gold, for example, which has had a big rally lately. So some huge opportunity there for value creation. Where you park your money for your retirement or for your to improve your lifestyle is a big deal. And this is very directive here. Now, obviously, macro assets will shift towards equity and Bitcoin by 2045. This is Michael Saylor's view, of course. Owns about 500,000 Bitcoin, so a huge amount of the supply. Bitcoin there, 280 trillion, pretty amazing, right? So a real big change in this chart from what we saw with the first one, right? And a Bitcoin there making a big inroads there. And of course, if we go back to the previous one, you can see the starting one that we had. Look how small Bitcoin is, right in the top left corner there. Very tiny. But of course, it's going to be huge moving towards 2045 based on Michael Saylor's projections, which are pretty exciting. So that's kind of cool. And the total global assets, of course, is going to end up at 4 quintillion or 4 trillion, 4,000 trillion is going to be the global asset base. That's amazing results. And of course, if we go back again just one more time, we can see that we're at 900 trillion at the moment. So we're over 4 times bigger in 20 years' time. We're going to have a 4 times bigger global asset base. Incredible, isn't it? Now, this does include a lot of derivatives market, which is obviously the biggest market, but these are the base categories for investment. Now, what is a Bitcoin worth to you? So we know it's by those predictions going to be incredibly valuable, going to be create financial freedom for you. It could be life changing. But what is the Bitcoin worth to you, right? That's the big question there. And he's got an individual Bitcoin strategy, which he laid out. And this strategy is pretty exciting. Maximize your earning power, invest wisely, and stay focused. Very importantly, those are important things. So maximize your earning potential, your earning power. And of course, we showed the projection values that he put up. Invest wisely. In other words, you got to choose the best one that's probably going to do the best. In this case, Bitcoin. And stay focused. Don't steer off the road. Stay focused on Bitcoin. Now, as you guys know, I'm into leverage plays on crypto. So we like Ethereum and other chains, which are all leverage plays. And of course, we expect money to flow in for an altcoin season, all that sort of stuff. But Bitcoin is obviously a key stable in there. That's where a lot of money is going at the moment and dominating the market, right? So things to do. Make BTC your primary treasury asset. Yep, agree with that. That's a great strategy. Convert excess earnings into Bitcoin. So if you've got some surplus earnings from your income, however you get that, you can put that into Bitcoin rather than putting it into the other asset classes like we saw, like property or art or stuff like that. Utilize subsidized credit to invest in Bitcoin. Now, the only thing about this that you've got to take into considerations here whenever using credit, but if you think you're going to outdo the market, something you could consider. But certainly the first two are things you could do quite easily. The third one there, of course, you have to consider a few more issues there around credit, but you could utilize subsidized credit to invest in Bitcoin, invest in tax-efficient entities and domains. Obviously, if you want to be a bit more professional about it and minimize tax and things like that. So what things you shouldn't do, don't quit your day job. If that's something for you, keep your day job so that you're accumulating that asset. You're not having to spend any of your Bitcoin, that sort of thing. Number two, don't lose your focus on Bitcoin. Keep clearly focused. Doesn't mean that you can't own any other cryptos, but keep very clear on Bitcoin. And finally, don't use margin loans or trade with leverage because most people get wrecked. It is a very high-end skill, and even top skilled traders can win one year and lose the next year. So be very careful with that. Over 95% of traders, they say, lose, and it's probably a lot higher than that. So you do need to be very good, have a good gut instinct. People do have those right qualities, but it's very difficult. And of course, you got to control your emotions as well. So don't do those things. Very good advice there from Michael Saylor. Now, the individual Bitcoin strategy, traditional strategy is to invest in residential real estate, stocks and bonds. That's the classic. But of course, in crypto, highest performing market, particularly Bitcoin, as a more conservative play. 1 million is an example. Say you had 1 million assets. Now, this may not reflect your situation. You may have more assets, you may have more income, you may have less assets, less income. So you've got to adapt it to your own situation. But 1 million assets, including $500,000 home, a $250,000 mortgage at 5%, let's say, and your portfolio is invested in equity and bonds. Well, you have $200,000 in earnings growing at 5% per year. You might have 50,000, 100,000, whatever it's going to be. You might have $500,000 or $1 million. So it's all relative to your position, starting position. 25% savings rate, and that's a pretty good number actually. 25%. A lot of people, don't save and they're spenders, and then they wonder why they never make any money because they just spend. But if you just actually put a bit of savings away and you have a good budget, you put the surplus away, and you just have that automatically set up, and the first month or two might be a bit hard, but then you get used to it and you forget about it, and it just accumulates, and your whole life changes from a financial point of view. So it's a very, very deal there. And then, of course, in this case, you have the ability to invest 50,000 excess earnings. So that might be $1,000 in your case. It might be, say per month, it might be $100, whatever it is. The basic idea is the same. So in this example, net assets in 2024 were $750K. So we've got $1 million minus the $250K mortgage. That gets us to $750, right? Now, let's move on into a way this might look too. So once you do the strategy of investing, the primary performance levers are portfolio allocation, intelligence, leverage, and of course, tax efficiency. We've talked about some of these things here. So I normally put 0% into Bitcoin there. And of course, portfolio converted to Bitcoin. Whereas if you did 10%, it's got a situation there for portfolio converted to Bitcoin. If you got a BTC maxi, would do 80% of their portfolio converted to Bitcoin. So it's quite a maxi. A double down would be 100%, and a triple maxi 100% as well. So you're putting all your investment portfolio into Bitcoin. The second one is excess earnings converted to Bitcoin. So that portfolio converted is your existing portfolio. Obviously, you earn money all the time. So if you had excess earnings, you could put that in. So in this case, maybe 25%, and you 10% of that goes into Bitcoin, or 80% if you're a BTC maxi, or you could put all of that excess earnings into double maxi and triple maxi the same. Now, the third one, of course, is increased mortgage to invest in BTC. Obviously, with mortgages, you typically have pretty low interest rates. Typically in the US, I think you have a lot of 30-year mortgages, so they're quite low, relatively speaking. So in that case, you could do the double down maxi. Notice it's not for the BTC maxi or the BTC, so it's actually taking a lot more aggressive focus on Bitcoin and really putting all your eggs in the same basket. But of course, if you believe in this like Michael Saylor does, this is kind of the ultimate in terms of creation. He showed that with the other asset classes with the ARR returns, right? So increased mortgage to invest 125K in this example. That might be 5K in your example. It's all relative to your starting position, right? And triple maxi 250K there. So this is somebody that's got quite a bit of money to move around as opposed to the average person. Move to a low tax jurisdiction. Some people do that. You can see a lot of expats moving around the world, moving into different places. So you've got 50K a year tax benefit there. So that is kind of where we are there. So individual Bitcoin strategy, this is how it would look to in 2045, right? So remember, they started off with net assets of 750K. Well, in this case, a normally doing nothing else might end up with 7 million, right? With the Bitcoin there. But if you had the 10% Bitcoin, you'd end up with $19 million. And of course, up 17% there. And of course, that would be Bitcoin at $1 million. And so if you had maxi BTC maxi by you would have had 108 million by that time. So in 20 years' time, you'd have 108 million dollars. Your financial freedom would be well and truly flourishing. And then, of course, a double maxi, 29%, you'd have 158 million. You'd have 11.8 Bitcoin in there. So these are the individual Bitcoins. So a BTC 10%, that's one Bitcoin, 7.9 Bitcoin, 11.8 Bitcoin. And this one at the top here, 213 million at 15.9 Bitcoin. So massive financial freedom from just following Michael Saylor's strategy. Now, you got to believe him, of course. You got to say, well, is it real? Is it going to happen? Well, you got to take it, say, well, it's pretty reasonable. If you find that's the case, then you can follow the strategy, right? That's pretty much it. So that's pretty cool. Now, he goes on to use a corporate Bitcoin strategy as well, and he's presented these strategies to, Microsoft and other companies, and we can see, companies like GameStop and other places all starting to get into crypto now. So they're going to fund a whole ton of money into Bitcoin. It's going to be a pretty crazy time and make, make this a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? He's going around talking to all these big corporates and government entities, state entities, and things like that, and of course presenting at conferences. The more people that see that start getting into making this a more self-fulfilling reality, right, in terms of Bitcoin and financial freedom. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was really worth going back and flashbacking on Michael Saylor's presentation from April last year. It was very, very popular, and it's probably a friendly reminder of where we are now, especially now that Donald Trump has done the strategic Bitcoin reserve, and all the players in the world, from states and governments and institutions and retail are all jumping into Bitcoin slowly and surely, and it's still very much the beginning, right? And you can see those in those numbers, so pretty exciting. Now, obviously, we've talked about Bitcoin price targets for this year, 150 to 250K, possibly with the upside of 400K. But of course, if we start converging towards gold, we could see a 10x from here. Just to get up to the gold market cap, right? So that would take us to about 25 trillion, somewhere around there. So pretty crazy numbers. All right, so that's pretty much our Bitcoin financial freedom. I hope you guys enjoyed that and got a bit of insight. I thought it was pretty damn good. So let's get into the next topic, which is actually talking about the meme coins, right? So meme coin trends. So we're going to get into all that. So let's jump over to some of those things, and we'll get into the meme coins here. So I got a cool little article here from TradingView, which I thought was pretty insightful. We're just going to speed through it, not go through the whole thing. But if you want to go through the whole thing, I'll post the link in the chat in case you want to see that. So definitely check that out. Hey, we've got Zach in the house. Hey, Zach, wise words. I appreciate that. Big shout out to you. And of course, this is the next topic here for this article. So if you want to read the whole thing, you can do that. But I'm just going to highlight a few things in here because I think it's pretty insightful. So that is the link to this article, and I'll try and post this on if one of the moderators can post it on Rumble, it'd be great, and I'll try and post it in the chat afterwards there. A big shout out to Diamond Hands. Good to see you in the chat there also. Big shout out there. And of course, don't forget to smash the follow button on Rumble. Hit the repost as well. Share this channel around. And also, if you're on YouTube, do likewise subscribe and share and hit the smash the like button too. All right, so let's get into it and let's have a look at this article. So, meme coin 2.0, the market crash, but the billion-dollar circus rolls on. Obviously, meme coins are a huge speculative play in crypto. Some people can become millionaires if they pick the right one early on. It is pretty crazy, and of course, people are hunting that all the time. Now, we've moved from Bitcoin, which is kind of a relatively conservative way of getting wealthy in crypto. Now we're moving to the speculative end, really, with meme coins. And of course, people like this in culture. Society loves meme coins. It reflects a lot of aspects of society, whether it's dogs, frogs, or cats. It's something for everybody, right? And of course, this is a cool little article here. So obviously, talking about meme coins, holding around about $48 million market cap. Now, we know that the market cap at the moment is around $50 million. So that's where we are at the moment. This article was only written a few weeks ago. So he says, despite the chaos, meme coins are still holding about $48 million or $50 million in the case as of March the 10th. It's not exactly spare change. Meanwhile, degens are still out there buying the dip like it's Black Friday sale, convinced that absurdly named tokens like Unicorn, Fart Dust, Fartcoin, and Buttcoin will print them 100x profit before the year's end. Some call it irrational, others call it degeneracy. But when was that ever stopped anyone in crypto? That is so true. Down bad, but not dead yet. It says down bad, not dead yet. Sure, meme coins aren't exactly Bitcoin, Ether, or Solana right now. They've been getting absolutely obliterated. And prices have tanked, liquidity has dried up, and traders who thought they'd be sipping cocktails on a yacht by now are busy coping on Telegram groups, which is pretty hilarious. Let's not pretend this is the first time meme coins have been pronounced dead. Every time the world writes them off, they somehow claw their way back, sometimes with an even more absurd rally than before. And I think, once we get this Bitcoin starting to move to 150, 250K, it's going to be unimaginable what's going to happen in the meme coin space as a leverage play. And of course, altcoin and full bull market there. We know that Bitcoin dominance is rising. Last time in 2021, it got to 70% before we got the altcoin season. At the moment, it's heading towards 61% and just unrelenting. So at some point, we're going to see a transference of wealth flow in to these altcoin seasons. And of course, it's going to go crazy. It's going to be ferocious, and everyone's going to think it's never going to come down. That's the one. And forget to take profits on the way. That's the other thing. After all, logic has never been crypto's strong suit. If it were, we wouldn't have seen billion-dollar valuations for fart-themed tokens in the first place. And if human nature tells us anything, it's that people will always chase the next big hype cycle, especially when it comes to wrapped in humor and the promises of overnight riches. Meme coins are down bad right now, but dead, not a chance. The moment another ridiculous trend takes hold, the money will come flooding back, because in crypto, what goes down eventually goes way back up, often in the most unexpected meme fuel ways, which is pretty crazy. Better marketing than serious crypto startups. And of course, forget white papers, roadmaps, and security audits. Meme coins don't need any of that. All it takes is a viral meme on X, a 10-minute token launch, and within a few weeks, it could be sitting at 50 million market cap. Meanwhile, legitimate projects spend years developing products, hiring developers, and of course, raising funds only to watch their tokens struggle to gain traction. And that is so true. That is so true. And of course, we come across that in Gem Hunters, which we've just started the last couple of days. We know that teams need help, and that's what we do. We help match teams to people, and people to really awesome opportunities, whether that's a meme coin, a printed coin, or a project coin like DeFi farms and things like that. We cover them all. So pretty interesting there. For meme coins, for community is everything. The bigger it is, the better the pump. It's not just the kind that retweets projects updates 10 times a day, but one that fully embraces the joke. These communities don't just speculate, they believe, and enough people buy the meme, the token pumps. And of course, don't forget market makers come into the move as well. Shiba Inu built a cult following as the so-called Dogecoin killer. It never liked Doge, but it evolved in a 9 billion token with its own blockchain. Others took an even weirder approach. Fartcoin turned flatulence into finance. A unicorn fart dust captured the magic of completely nonsensical branding. The Buttcoin, a 2013 meme mocking Bitcoin, made a comeback to troll the entire industry. The formula is obvious. The more absurd the name, the bigger the hype. Sometimes it's funny is the only investment thesis you need. So if you're in the speculative market, that's kind of where we are. Sure, the crash wiped out some gains, but let's not act like meme coins vanished. They didn't go to zero, which in crypto terms makes them survivors. A strong community, relentless memes, and top tier shit posting can keep even the most ridiculous assets alive. Meme coins are a rebellion against the traditional finance. People are investing money in Dogecoin instead of Apple stock, and for good reason. While sort of crypto has become a go-to escape hatch for those fed up with traditional finance, banks freeze accounts, and of course that is so true, isn't it? Regulators add more red tape, insider trading runs rampant. Meanwhile, meme coins are a free for all, where everybody can win big or lose everything. No middleman, no rules, just vibes. The same Bitcoin proves that people will pump anything just for fun. What started as a joke now has a dedicated community trying to make it in the next Bitcoin. Make it the next Bitcoin. It's completely insanity, which is precisely why it works. And if a world has gone mad, why not profit from the chaos? With financial markets becoming more centralized, restrictive, and controlled, meme coins often offer an anarchic alternative. They represent the financial Wild West, where anything goes. Even the most absurd assets can see billion-dollar valuations. Meme coins as an internet culture, of course. Meme coins have been around since 2013 when Dogecoin launched as a joke around about speculative trading. No one, not even its creators, took it seriously until Elon Musk got involved and became its unofficial CEO. That same year, Bitcoin was born from a YouTube video. It wasn't a token back then, just a meme. But years later, the community decided to turn the joke into an actual cryptocurrency. It exploded because people love jokes and some believe it could be the next Bitcoin. Each new wave of meme coins pushes the absurdity even further. First Doge, then Shiba, then Bonk. Now we have an entire market of tokens inspired by farts, craps, and butts, which is just a part of the whole funny part of it. And somehow they keep outperforming serious projects. As long as people will love memes, meme coins will have a place in crypto. It is an internet culture that has turned into an asset class. I would also say that it's got extremely speculative, right? Extremely speculative as well. So every man and their dog these days can launch a token and crypto at the moment, right? So there's so many platforms. Whereas back in 2021, in the last bull market cycle, you really had to be a coder to be able to, code on EVM chains, right? So you had to know how to do Solidity programming, and that was it. But now people have programmed the contract so you can make your own, right? Now we've seen pump tires and fun tires and everything else jumping out there too. There's lots of different ways of doing that. Are meme coins here to stay? Most meme coins start as a joke, but some have found actual use cases. Dodge is already accepted for payments by Tesla, AMC, and GameStop. And of course, we just saw GameStop going to be investing big money into Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin. SHIB holders can shop at Gucci, Nordstrom, and Whole Foods. Even newer projects like Soulcat are launching games to expand their ecosystems. Meme coins aren't just meme coins anymore. They're shaping a new financial reality where virality, speculation, and internet culture define value. But let's address the obvious. The recent crash has slashed valuations, leaving many wondering what's next. Are they here to stay, or are we watching them fade into irrelevance? If history tells us anything, it's that meme coins are like cockroaches, resilient, unpredictable, and always resurfacing. And that's what I think is going to happen in this bull market coming up with Bitcoin and the altcoin season. It's going to be crazy stuff there. Investors should brace for more chaos because these tokens are volatile as ever, and you do need to get used to that volatility. They can go up and down quite dramatically. Meme coins may not be running the show right now, but let's be honest, the next big meme token is probably already brewing in a Telegram group. And of course, we noticed many of those, right? Just waiting for its moment to explode or implode. So there we go. That was a cool article by Igor Zemtsov there, Chief Technology Officer at TBCC. So big shout out to him. That was really cool. Here we got Zach in the house there. I see Bitcoin going up. There is no way it doesn't. Me too, Zach. Absolutely. And I think it's about to go ballistic. We got Mr. Froz in the house there. Good morning, sir. Good to see you, Mr. Froz. Big shout out to you. And of course, hope everyone over in India is doing well. Big shout out. So that was a cool article. Now, let's have a look at the breakdown on CoinGecko of all the memes, right? So let's have a breakdown there. I'm going to post this in the chat there so you guys can check out the memes in your own time as well following this video. So check that out. But that is the meme coins there. So check that one. Bam. All right. So we can see the market cap sitting around $50 billion at the moment. It's down 5.5% today in the last 24 hours, obviously following the Liberation Day, which I did a video on that earlier today. But trading volume's up 24 hours, $9.1 billion. And we can see some of the top gainers there: Pro Token, Anti Token, Retard, Finder Coin. They're kind of the trending top gainers, but even they're down at the moment. Trending coins, we've got ACK1, the AI Prophecy, SPX 6900, and Dog with Hat there making the leaderboard there too, but they're all down. And of course, ACK1, the AI Prophecy, is down 21%. Now, top memes. Now, if you were going to speculate in memes and you see them as a leverage play in altcoin season on top of Bitcoin, then you want to have a portfolio of meme coins. If that's, you add, let's say you have a whole portfolio and you decide to add 20%, you want to allocate 20% or 30% to meme coins. Let's say you did that. Well, out of that 20% that you allocate, you want to put, a good amount, probably 50% in the top meme coins, right? Because, there's a big community. They already ran in the first bull market, and they're likely to have a big move forward as capital picks off those to go in. So market makers go into the main coins, big communities, and all the rest of it. Some of them have wider ecosystems as well, as we just talked about. So at the moment, you got Dodge, you got SHIB, you got Pepe. They're at number 1, 2, and 3. And you still got the official Trump token there, which stormed the market this year. And then you got Bonk at number 5. So they're the top 5 at the moment. Moving into the top 10, we've got Floki, SPX 6900, Binance Peg Dodge coin there, Fart coin. We talked about that in the article. And number 10 there, Dog with Hat. So these are kind of the top 10. You definitely want to have some of those in your portfolio if you're going to be allocating to that. Obviously, you need to seek your own financial advice. Nothing I say on this video is financial advice. Obviously, we're just covering all these cool trends. And of course, hopefully there's a lot of insights here into the wider crypto market as we go. So those are the top 10 there. And you can see all those performing at the moment. Now, as you'll see, a lot of these ones here, we have a lot of dogs and cats and frogs. There's a lot of dogs, cats, and frogs. And the further you go down the list, the more you're going to see. Now, there's also some family ones as well, like Brett Token with the whole family of characters. That's out there too. And you can see that's just below, a couple below Dogs with Hats. So it's sitting at number 13 at the moment. They had a great time a couple of months ago, being some of the popular coins like with Brett Token. We also got others there, Popcat, that also been around as well. And of course, as you guys know, the first one on Bitcoin was Dog Token there. That is number one. A BRC, was it BRC20? Yeah, I can't remember now. But that is the number one token there. And of course, we've been tracking that as well. Market cap's come down a long way, 152 million. It almost got to $1 billion. Not quite there yet, but let's see what happens once Bitcoin rallies. This could really hyper rally, and the number of holders have gone up dramatically. So it's just maybe a bit of a balance of time there as well. So those are sort of the top ones there. You can also see in the list some AI coins and all sorts of stuff. So AI has started to introduce itself into meme coins, right? Very, very important. Now, we come down here and we've got Toshi is the one that's over $100 million at the moment. So all the coins above this over 100 million And of course, we've got lots of frogs and dogs and cats and a few others, AI coins as well. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Let's have a quick look at some of the charts here. You can see how big some of these are. We've got different categories. We've got dog themed. We've got Elon Musk inspired. We've got Solana meme, frog meme, boy clubs, the boys club there. We've got AI memes here, Politify, obviously, cat themed. So these are kind of the main categories. You can sort of see how big they are and where they're down at the moment. So they're all pretty much down. The worst down here in category is AI memes, of course, which has been one of the big trends, right? So we're talking about, memes, meme coin trends. And so that's what we're breaking down. So that's kind of an overview of the themes here on CoinGecko, one of the 2 or 3 top indexes for crypto. Now, looking at total dog theme coins, you can break that down further. We can see that $35 billion is in dog theme coins. So remember, total memes are about 50 billion, and we've got a massive 35 billion in there, which is massive, right? So we're looking at about 70% of the market cap for meme coins is in dog coins. So don't be surprised. That's kind of where we are there. So, dog is a man's best friend. You know how it rolls. So we've got Dogecoin there, the Elon Musk, we've got the SHIB there, big community, right? They've got their own ecosystem. Bonkcoin there, number 3, Floki at number 4, Dog with Hat number 5, Cats in the Dog World number 6 there, Baby Dogecoin number 7, and of course the Bitcoin one here is at number 8. We've got Nero at number 9, and then Bone Shiba Swap Bone here, part of the SHIB ecosystem at number 10. And of course, you can see that is where we are at the moment. And of course, we've got some key stats there. Dodge there dominating the market, down 2.14%. SHIB is actually up a little bit, and so is MuCoin there as well. So that is the dog themes there. Looking at frogs, we've got frogs as well. Frogs is relatively tiny compared to dogs. Dogs are like, 70%, 35 billion out of 50 billion. But here we are at 3.8 billion at the moment. So that is sitting in about 7% of the market of crypto. So it's still big, but about 7% of the meme coin value as well. Now, just remember the total market cap of crypto is 2.77 trillion, and 50 billion is the meme coin categorization here by CoinGecko. So it's still relatively small. What's that, about 3.5%, something like that of the market, something like that. And so, that is where we're at the moment. Now, we've got some trending ones here. We've got Brett Token, Turbo, and Frog. We've got some top gainers, Donald Toad Coin, Fifi, Purple Peppy. So there's lots to check out from here. So you could possibly pick off, a couple of the big ones there. Obviously, Peppy, Brett Token might do pretty well. Book of Meme. These are some that might do pretty well if you want a more safer meme coins, with sort of a proven track record, big community, and an ecosystem behind it. And of course, also with the ability to have capital allocated into it as well, and volume to come in from the market makers is pretty important there too. That's a big deal. Then, of course, that gets us into Solana memes, of course, another big category, 6.5 billion here. So that's about 13% of the meme coins are on Solana memes, and that's pretty big, right? So we've got Trump, of course, dominating there, 1.8 billion. We've got Bonk at number 2, Fart Coin there. This is where we're getting into the Fart Coins. We've got Dog with Hat number 4, Pudgy Penguins at number 5 there, Cats with Dogs. We've got quite a few PopCat here, and of course the Bitcoin one there too. Over here on Solana here as an allocation. Now, there'll be crossovers in this particular category, but you can sort of see how big it is, quite large over on Solana. And of course, Solana's market cap back in January was absolutely massive, and it's had a massive sell-off since then. And of course, it's down 9.5%. Solana, known as the big meme chain, and of course, they also had a lot of issues with the chain being down. But man, it really fell out of the market there, as we talked about in that article. So, pretty big deal. Now, the other thing, of course, to talk about trends. So those are kind of the big trends that we're used to. Dog coins, frog coins, Solana being a big chain. But we also have some more recent trends in meme coins, and one of those is AI coins, right? So AI memes, basically. We can see this sitting at about 1.7 billion at the moment. Market cap's down 14%. In other words, you have to get used to volatilities, particularly in a down market, especially after a special event like Liberation Day and the impact tariffs have had on the crypto. Although I still think it's holding up pretty relatively well, and we're probably going to get some crazy rebound here in April, as I expect a lot of capital flow in. But we can see Fart Coin at the moment in the AIs here is down. So some of these coins may or may not should be in this category, but you can decide. Some of them may have AI attached to them or not. Some of them might have AI agents, right? AI agents. But anyway, Fart Coin here down 28%. We've got agentfund.ai, so it's the agent fund. This is down. This is pretty flat for the week, but down 7.5% today. You can see the market caps here, respectively. Fartcoin 470 million, 200 million on agent fund. So a lot more speculative, this category. But hey, look, could have some huge upside, particularly if a meme coin has a really good AI agent or AI system set up. It could be actually be pretty good. We've got AI companions there. We've got Turbo. We've got AI XBT by Virtuals. We've got Corgi AI. We've got Corgi AI, so you can't get rid of the dogs, I guess, in there. We got Act One, the AI Prophecy Act. That's down 71% in the last week. That's what I'm telling you about. You got to be careful out there which ones you pick. So you may want to just go to the top there and pick off some of the better ones if you think you're waiting for altcoin season, right? So that gives you some idea of what's going on at the moment. Top gainers, Catgirl, AI Cell, She Rises. There's some of the bigger gainers there at the moment. Catgirl up 48%. Some of the trending ones, Fartcoin, Act One there, and Tutorial. So there's lots of stuff. You got to do a lot of research to make sure you're getting into the right ones. Typically, the top ones are going to be the safer one. Therefore, you might want to put 60, 70% of your meme coin allocation of that. And of course, maybe 30% you can go on some of the riskier ones, maybe with some good communities and other things like that, good influences and things. So just remember, don't buy the top. Don't buy the top on those. Another trend besides AI memes is we've seen gibification. It's a damn hard word to say. Giblification. So we've seen this come into the market as well. This came into the market pretty recently at the end of March. And of course, there's a couple of these tokens around. And of course, they've been taking off as well. And of course, you can see the chart there, a big pump, and of course, a big dump there at the moment. So just be careful out there with some of these glibifications. And of course, Glibby tokens can be traded on centralized crypto exchanges. So you can definitely check out all behind that. And pretty crazy. This is a much smaller market. I mean, look at this one. This glibification's price is only 12.7 million. But these are kind of trendy, or they were trendy, March, and may still be trendy moving forward. But we'll see how that goes in the future as well. All right, so you can investigate glibification memes, and that's kind of where we go at the moment. Now, obviously, we've gone through a lot of the CoinGecko categories just to get ourselves, abreast with what's going. We've gone through an article which has given us a good overview of everything that's happening with the trends. But also, people are daily sitting at their computers looking to pick off new memes that pop up. Everybody can create a new meme in an instant, and they're popping up every day. Sometimes the big memes are pumping. Sometimes the brand new memes are pumping. And of course, that's highly speculative. But you've got a bit of a choice between that or a bit of both. Now we've got on Deck Screener, we've got Solana, and you can pretty much just use the filters to filter out top performing coins. A lot of them are meme coins. Some of them are DeFi coins, but most of them are meme coins. And of course, you can just check through and see what's pumping at the time. You can also select by what's new pairs, right? You can click new pairs and see what's pumping at that time as well. So that's the other thing you can do. Otherwise, you can go back to trading. So you can do 1 hour, see what's pumping at the moment, last hour. We've got Fart here, the AI Fart Lab. You've got 6 hours there as well. You can see what's trading at different time zones. Now, obviously, not just Solana as meme coins, but we've also got meme coins on Base Chain. Base Chain has a lot of meme coins as well. And of course, you can see what's trending on there and just get a sense of what's the biggest market caps. You can actually search by market cap, right? So you can see what's the bigger player and then do your investigations behind that, right? So, how good is this project and how safe is it? How big's the community? How big's the influencers? All that sort of stuff. How much capital is going into it? How new is it? All those questions that you might ask about it. Obviously, there's also, Solana and Base are obviously huge meme coin chains. You can also find memes, of course, on every chain. That includes Binance. That includes Ethereum, right? So you can find stuff on every chain, and they all have slightly different memes dominating on those chains. So you can check all those out too. And then, of course, even Pulse Chain, which we cover in pretty full depth, has its own meme coins. Some of these meme coins have other things tagged onto them, right? They'll have printer tokens. They're basically, if you hold that meme coin, you could get tokens. Like they'll have taxes on them, and you get tokens for that. Some of them might have AI tagged onto them, like AI agents. Some of them may just have be associated to a DeFi project. So like Teddy Bear here might be associated to another DeFi project, like a Tropa, for example. There's lots of different opportunities here. Obviously, most wanted here is the Richard Hart one that launched on the pump tires. And of course, you can see that's doing pretty well. So there are lots of different kind of memes dominating over on Pulse Chain. Now, obviously, there's other chains: Abstract Chain, Su Chain, Ton Chain. Obviously, Ton Chain's been performing very well in the top 10, being one of the top 3 performers in the last a week in the top 10 of crypto. And so that's been doing pretty well. So some of these might be a good opportunity, getting in on some of the Ton Chain there for Telegram. And of course, Sonic is another chain that's getting pretty popular. Also, it could be another one that you go hunt down some pretty cool cryptos. And then once you get used to the blockchain community there, that could also give you some insights and follow the right influencers and community people there as well, and maybe get on some tokens and airdrops and stuff like that early. Obviously, there's other chains like Polygon, Kronos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, a lot of the second layer protocols on Ethereum, also offering some opportunity there as well. And of course, Tron recently, of course, has been pumping a lot, and there may be stuff over there too. But I find Tron pretty risky, and the volume's pretty low as well. So just take care out there. You probably want to stay with the bigger chains at the top here, like Solana, Base, BSC, Ethereum, Pulse Chain, Ton Chain, Su Chain, things like that, Sonic Chain. So some of those top chains there, probably the best way to go. So that's some of the insights there around meme coins and the trends. And it was a pretty epic overview there. Now, obviously, as a high level, that's kind of a good range there. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of that and sort of came up to speed on all the type of tokens that are dominating. And let's see what happens. It's going to go from a 50 billion market cap and then leverage on an altcoin season against Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the main coins for these chains like BNB and Ethereum and Solana. It's going to be interesting to see all that play out. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And another great show. We covered how to get rich in Bitcoin, how to get financial freedom. We did an awesome overview, I think, of where the trends are in the meme coin space and how speculative and dynamic it is. And it is a real specialty place, a bit like fine art in some ways, I guess. Maybe not. If only it's a lot more, you need a lot more skills in crypto and meme coins than fine art, I might add. But that's kind of where we're going with that. All right, so if you guys haven't joined, remember the links to Discord are in the video description. Join out to our community. We've got an awesome community of 1,100 people in there. And of course, if you want to get into our brand new Gem Hunters, only been out for 3 days, join up to that. And of course, that's going to hunt for free gems. And we've got a free alpha list on there. So you're going to get a lot of free stuff in there. And we're looking forward, we're developing that at the moment. So we're boarding up a lot of things to develop Gem Hunters. So it's going to be a pretty awesome place to hunt for some of the really best stuff on Pulse Chain, but also other multi-chain opportunities as well, maybe Ethereum-based chain, Solana, things like that. So definitely join up today and tell your friends, share it to your friends. Once you get into Gem Hunters, you can just type /link and you'll get your own referral link to help grow the community. And we're looking to go super viral there and to give you a lot of opportunity and value, match you up with a lot of new project teams with really good X's and good yields. That's kind of what we're looking for at the moment. And one of the ones on our free alpha list absolutely pumped the other about an hour or two ago, went up like 90%. So some mad gains to be had there. So congratulations to all the early gem holders there that have got into some of those tokens like that. All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We're going to wrap it up there. And a big shout out to everybody over on Rumble. You guys are absolutely amazing. And on YouTube as well. You guys are stellar. And look forward to seeing you either in Discord or Telegram. Take care, everybody. And I'll catch you on the next show. And enjoy the rest of Liberation Day. It's certainly got the world talking. And